This here is a genuine Dixon quick change tool post plus a couple of holders, made in Surrey, England, and that is Dixon written with CK, not an X, although apparently this one was made for the EMCO lathe company. It's a bit of a scruffy looking set, and this holder here seems to have been modified to fit bigger tool bits. There is some damage here and there from normal use over time, but everything seems to work just fine. It even came with a couple of tool bits. This here is a 12mm piece of high-speed steel. Here's a parting off blade, and this here is a bit of an interesting tool bit. It looks homemade. There was a boring bar in this one here that I'm currently using as a pointer, and there was no tool bit in this holder here. I bought this set well over a year ago for a very nice price, but so far I haven't really used it, as the hole through this quick change tool post is too big for the bolt on my compound side. I know that's a easy problem to fix, but to be honest, I never had much interest in using a quick change tool post. The time it takes to shim up a tool bit is rather short compared to doing and filming a complete project video. Besides, with this you also lose a bit of rigidity. This here is also a Dixon quick change tool post, and that is Dixon with an X, and this is probably from India. And this is of course a knockoff of the original article, but it should be the same. Okay, that's everything unwrapped, and now I got sticky cosmoline fingers, which is a bit annoying. I more or less bought this spontaneously a while back to celebrate the 3-year anniversary of my YouTube channel. I saw them on sale in the weekly HBM newsletter for €80. It's also labeled HBM. Strangely enough, it is now months later, but you can still buy these for the same low price. It seems to be on constant sale these days. It looks very similar to the original Dixon tool post. The chamfering on here is a little heavier, and this tool block is slightly higher. The knurling is a bit different. This has a diamond pattern. The other one is straight. The biggest difference is in the parting off blade. This one is stepped on the underside. The original one is flat, and that's probably much better. So this one will not see much use. Let's mount this HBM tool post to the lathe and see what it looks like. I will probably keep this one as it has the correct size bolt hole, and then sell the EMCO. There's no point in keeping both. Let's take off the 4-way tool post. Hopefully I shimmed my last tool bit, but somehow I don't think so. And here's the HBM tool post. And that's going to interfere with the wrench that came with the tool post. Let me find a nut. it can slide a little bit. It doesn't really center well around the tool post nut. It does look a little bit too small for this compound slide. But that means less overhang. And also the neck ties up was more than twice as expensive as this one. That almost looks professional. I just installed a pointy bit so I can play a little with this height adjustment mechanism. Loosen up the cam, turn the thumb screw, and also loosen up the little screw. Yeah, that's a lot closer to center height. Maybe also rotate the tool post a little. This knot is awfully close to the cams. It could use a thick washer. That's better. Still needs to go a little bit higher. Something like this. I think it looks pretty good, and testing this thing should be fun, but that's something for another video. Now this here is a printout from the lathes.co.uk website, and if you're into lathes, you probably heard of it. If not, you are most likely watching the wrong video, but it is your time, and it doesn't bother me one bit. This here is information about the original Dixon tool post, and now I will read a little passage here. It's already covered with cosmoline oil. These tool posts have been widely copied in India and China using inferior materials and indifferent standards of fit. You might be lucky and find a perfect example, but among the faults reported are clamping pins that snap off, bases that are not flat, V-grooves that are not parallel, and tool holders that fail to contact fully with the guides and wobble about. That doesn't sound very great, so let's hope I got a good one. I will now clean up both of these sets and do a little test fitting. See how well things fit together and how well they mix and match. I'll report back later with my findings. It's been a long time since I started recording this video, at least 10 weeks ago. Some shit happened, literally, and when I continued making videos I kinda forgot about this one. Guess I never really liked it. It's no longer going to be the video that I had in mind, but it would be a waste to throw it all away. Some might still like it, and that could actually be useful for someone looking to buy one of these HBM tool posts. Now I cleaned up and de-rusted the original Dixon tool post. I also stoned all of these mating surfaces, both on the old and on the new holders, including the tool post, of course. And after I've done that, I started mixing and matching all the components. And I can already tell you, it is not as bad as the lathes.co.uk article made me think it would be. But it is certainly far from perfect. But most of the holders will actually fit on the original Dixon tool post. And that's a good start, I think. A original Dixon holder and a fake one. Now when you look at this with some sort of light source in the background, I cannot see any light coming through these mating surfaces. And there is no gap anywhere that will fit my 500th of a millimeter feeler gauge. Although I must say that the old holder looks rather rough. These two modified tool holders are not as good as the rest of them. They have warped ever so slightly because of the heat treatment they have gone through. This one with the welding, and this one because it went up to 800 degrees in the kiln to get it soft. So I could drill a hole in there. They're not really that bad, but there are a few places where the 500th of a millimeter feeler gauge will fit between the mating surfaces. Now the biggest problem with fitting one of these fake holders with the original Dixon tool post, the diameter of this height adjustment screw is a little big over here, and when you tighten things up, it comes in contact with the cam over here, and that might give you problems with the mating surfaces lining up. Although it looks pretty good at this time. There might be slight variations in these screws. On the other hand, the height adjustment thumb screw on the original holders is a bit too small, so it very easy drops below the height stop. It's not a problem with a fake holder. Only a few degrees on this cam actually work. I think over the years there has been some wear in this mechanism, but this will surely benefit from a larger diameter thumb screw. Here you can see that things aren't lining up properly. You really need to use your other hand to press things together when you tighten up the cam, otherwise things might misalign. And that's true for both new and old tool post. When fitting an old holder onto a fake tool post, you will run into the same problem. But some of them actually don't fit because the slot in here, this slot, is too narrow. Or maybe it's the piston here that's too wide. And if it does fit, like here, the cam might not be able to lock things in place. That's not doing much. I was planning to keep the HBM tool post and sell the other set, original EMCO tools, seem to fetch top dollar a lot more than they are probably worth. So I had already bought a couple of extra holders, including a parting off tool that I might modify into an upside down parting tool that can reach up to the center height of my lathe. Originally this holder doesn't get up to center height on my lathe. For that it would need a riser block. But a riser block might increase my chances of chatter, and I don't like that idea. Funny thing, this HBM holder doesn't fit onto the HBM tool post. The slot in here is just too small. But it does fit on the original Dixon tool post. The other three tools seem to fit just fine. A single one of these holders will cost you €15, and I think they're okay. These inside edges are a bit sharp, but a diamond hone will take care of that. Now there are a couple of differences between the original Dixon holder and one of these fake holders. First off, just like the fake tool post, the fake holder is slightly bigger. The fake holder has a bit of a groove here that is not there on the original one. Maybe you can see it better if I lay them down. That shouldn't help with the rigidity. The slot here for the piston is a little bit wider on the fake holder. 24 and a bit for the original one. $26 and a bit for the fake one. And that also might have a small effect on the rigidity of the holder, especially since the original tool post has a smaller piston. I could not drill through this one. I heated it up to 842 degrees in a kiln to soften up the metal. After that, drilling a hole was easy. So these fake ones are definitely hard, but that might be only skin deep. I guess time will tell how well they hold up. Now, I've already talked a bit about the differences between the original and the fake tool post. The fake tool post is about 1 millimeter bigger overall, and it has larger chamfers, as you can see. The size or the diameter of the cam and the pistons also differ between the two. But there is another big difference. The underside of this fake tool post is completely flat, while the original one has this large opening. And I could use this opening to turn sort of a hockey puck that will also fit inside the compound slide, and that will help to mount things a lot more rigid. Although I have been thinking about using this mysterious 7mm hole to bolt the tool post solidly to the compound slide. So now I got to find some time to turn down all of these height adjustment thumb screws, and maybe make a few new ones for the old Dixon holders. I should also make a hockey puck so I can mount this original tool post a little bit more solidly to the compound slide. And after that I should try a little bit of parting off. Something I tried before with the fake HBM Dixon tool post, but that failed miserably. I guess I'm done talking. Bye for now. Oh, god damn it. Well, that sucked.